Hello world and welcome to 1.19, where today we're going to be covering a brand new mod, and this mod is all about refined storage. Not just refined storage, however, as you can see I have got a fair few amount of add-ons for this mod as well. So obviously we're just going to cover these first, and we're going to be referring back to these throughout this entire series. Starting off, we obviously have the refined storage mod. This is the base mod, and this is going to be the vanilla type of things that you can get in this mod. Next up we have refined storage add-ons. This adds only one thing, and that is a wireless crafting grid. That is it. Refined storage requestify. This allows one block in here, the requester, and this will allow you to set stock of things that you want to automatically craft inside your system. We have refined storage infinity booster. This will allow your wireless crafting terminal or any other type of wireless terminal to have infinite range in your world, and there's also a dimensional card which allows you to use this across dimensions. There's universal grid. This allows you to have all the different types of grids that refined storage adds and has them all in one handy little device. Then we have two more. These can be kind of similar. We have extra storage and extra disks. Both of them allow you to have even larger disks for storing items or fluids in the game. As well as that though, extra storage allows you to have even better crafters and some extra cables as well. But some of the features cross over between these two last mods. So let's get into how you make your very first refined storage system. At the heart of it, you are going to need a controller. This is going to be the brain of your system. Now the controller is made up of only new items that aren't in the vanilla game. We have got quartz enriched iron, advanced processor, a machine casing, and 3 silicon. So that is how we make our brain, and this is how basically nothing can work unless you have this controller. So now let's cover how you actually get these different ingredients, of course. First, you're going to need to have a piece of stone, surround that enriched iron, and this will get you your machine casing. This is something you're probably going to want to auto-craft in the future, as it's the base block of pretty much every machine or item inside of refined storage. But how do we get the quartz iron? Very simple. Very simple. We get quartz and iron together, and this will give us actually 4 enriched quartz. So 3 iron, 1 quartz gives us 4 quartz ingots. To get silicon, it's very simple as well. You just take quartz, smelt it inside of a furnace, and this will give you 1 piece of silicon per 1 quartz. In order to get the advanced processor, is a little bit more complicated. You first must get this processor binding. This is made with 1 piece of slime and 2 strings, and you'll get 8 of these per craft. Next, you need to take a diamond, a piece of redstone, 1 silicon which you made before, and the binding processor, or the processor binding, sorry, and this will give us 1 raw advanced processor. Now all you have to do is smelt the raw advanced processor, and this will give you your advanced processor. That's great, we know exactly how we make a controller now, but now we need a way of actually seeing inside of our system, because technically the system can run just with the controller itself, but it wouldn't exactly be doing a lot. So now we want a way to actually see inside our system. We do this by creating a grid. A grid is made with 3 pieces of glass, a machine casing, a quartz enriched iron, 2 improved processors, a destruction core, and a construction core. So very quickly, let's go over these other new items. Very many recipes in this basic episode. First, we're going to need to make the improved raw processor. This is going to be the exact same way as the advanced processor, except we're using gold instead of a diamond. Again, you smelt this down to get your improved processor. The others are a little bit different. First, you're going to need a basic processor, again the same way as the advanced and the improved, but except you're going to use iron instead of gold or diamond. From this though, you smelt it and you'll get yourself basic processor, and then there are 2 crafts you can do. In order to get the constructive core, you add a piece of glowstone to the processor, and in order to get the destruction core, you need another piece of nether quartz to the basic processor. Great, so now we can see inside the system, but we want a way of actually storing our items in the system as well, as we want to actually be able to have things in the system, otherwise we're going to be looking at an empty system. So for that, we're going to need 2 things, a disk drive and the drives themselves, these storage disks. The disk drive is made up of the enriched quartz, a advanced processor, machine casing, and a chest, and you only get 1 of these per craft. Now each one of these we are going to discuss a little bit more in the next part of this episode. Now for the discs itself, there are many different levels, but we're going to start off with the 1K storage disk. This is made with redstone glass, enriched quartz iron, and then a 1K storage part. However, you can do this without making a storage part, so if you don't have this little place in the middle, you can actually just make blank storage housings in mass and fill them with these drives later. If I get myself here one of these 1K storage systems, I don't know why if I take it off the item frame it doesn't work. If I have one of these storage disk, I can hold shift and right click, and this will remove the storage part. Then inside your inventory or crafting table, you would just add the two back together, and this would make your housings. Now, in order to make the 1K storage disk, it's very simple. It's just a mix of silicon, redstone, quartz, and the enriched iron. Now, as I say, there are many different types of storage. There is 1K, 4K, 16K, and 64K. Now, what this means is basically each disk, that's how many items it's going to store. So the 1K is going to store 1,000 items, and the 64K is going to hold 64,000 items. Very, very simple stuff and not complicated at all. Now, we're not going to cover how to actually go and craft each different types of storage core. That'll be later on when we go into some other parts of the mod as well. There, for your information as well, there's also a fluid type of each one of these disks, but again, for the basic tutorial, we're not going to be covering those today. So here we have it. Here is our basic system. Now, all of these work, and they can only work when they touch each other. If you had them all apart, it wouldn't work. It's not a wireless based system, but as you can see right now, nothing is lit up. The redstone signal, the refined storage controller actually needs power, so we are going to be using a Mechanism Creative Energy Cube, as refined storage doesn't have its own way of creating power. So you will have to use another mod for that, but it just uses RF or FE or any other type of different storage. But as long as you have power coming to this, you are good. And then we have our grid and our storage disk. In here, in our disk drive here, we have got our 1K storage, and our drives go into here. So each disk drive can hold up to 8 different storage disks. So if we used a 1K, we could hold 8,000. If we use 64K, we could use X amount. I'm not that good at maths. So here we see our total, and the more we put inside of our system, the more this is going to fill up. So if we go into our grid here, this is what we can see. We can take any type of items, for here we have stone, and we can put it into the system. I'm holding shift to get the whole thing right in. You can just put them in one at a time. It is very, very nice. There are a couple of different things about this interface as well. You can have it ignore redstone signal. You can have it only work with a redstone signal, only work without a redstone signal, or just ignore. That's probably what most people do. You can also display in different ways. So you can display just normal, which is everything. Then there's no craftables. These are things that you cannot craft. Then there's the only craftables. These are the things that you have set up to auto craft in your system. And then there's back to normal. You can have it in ascending or descending order. Do it by quantity, order it by quantity, the name of the block, the ID of the block, the last modified of the block or items, and then back to quantity. Then you also have your search bar. This is up here. So we have, if we have loads of different types of blocks, and we have a bit of a scroll wheel and everything's a little bit complicated to actually find something, you can obviously use the search bar here, and as you search, things will remove. We have stone, so obviously stone works just fine. But you can have it in different ways. You can have it auto selected, so that means when you right click into here, the search bar is automatically selected. And then if you have JEI installed, you can also have it as it syncs with JEI. So if I type in here, it will automatically do it. And then there's JEI synchronized, which goes into here. So this is the best thing I think about this with the JEI auto synchronized. So we can just type in here chest, and then we can see if there's any items in here. We can just take out all the different things we need, or we can see how it's actually made in such thing. Now the last thing is the size of this. So I have a large GUI anyway, so it doesn't really change too much for me, but you can have small, medium, which is pretty much default, then large, so you can see lots of many different items. Now there are blocks on the side here. Now I believe these are for upgrades, but when you go into refined storage and you go into the upgrades, none of these upgrades actually go into this block. So I don't know what to set up with that. So now we've covered the grid, let's go to the disk drive. The disk drive can do many different things. Obviously we've got our storage disk in here, and then when we have 64 stone in here, it's obviously going to show that there is a little bit in here. It's 6% full. So let's take that out. There's a couple of things we can see in here. We can have the redstone working with or without, or so on and so forth. We also have priority. So this will choose the higher the number, the more likely it's going to go to this disk drive first. So if you say you have 100 disk drives, you could say that you want this one to be filled first. So the higher you have this, there you go. This one's number 90. This means that this is going to be top priority and the rest are going to be other way. Next, we have type and mode. We have blacklist or whitelist. If it's on whitelist and you have no filters in there, that means you won't be able to add anything into your system. So if you're finding out that you can't put anything inside, you don't understand why. Just check that you're not in whitelist mode. In blacklist mode with this filtered, it means that basically nothing is blacklisted, so anything can go inside. However, if I put a stone in here, now stone can't, but obviously something like granite can. Next up is we've obviously got the types. This is where you switch between filters. So as I say, you could have fluid as well in this. So if I said I wanted water in here, I could then change my water bucket to be our filter here and say that's blacklisted, so water's not allowed in our system. But now if I change the whitelist, obviously it is allowed in the system. So you've got two different sets of filters here, one for fluids and one for items. So let's just remove both of them and make sure we're on blacklist. Next we have extract mode on. This I'm not too sure on. The wiki doesn't exactly say what this extract mode is, but it's just safe to say you should leave it on. And then we have our access type. This is insert and extract, which obviously means I'm allowed to put things in and I'm allowed to take things out. If I had it on insert only, I could put things in, but I couldn't actually take them out, and they've completely have disappeared for some reason, even though they're inside. So interesting. You can't actually see them because you can't actually take them out. That's something I didn't realize. Extract mode would allow me to see them and allow me to take them out, but I cannot put it back in, of course. Very strange. I don't know when you would use this, probably for small niche systems, or you want to store things without actually seeing it, I suppose, but there we go. And then you have insert, of course, back to normal. So this is great and all, we can see items inside of here, but it's going to be a little bit of a pain. You're going to have to always have, say, a crafting table right next door. So you're going to have to find your different recipes, look through JEI, right, this is what I want, take out what you need, and then go to a workbench. We can upgrade this grid because we don't want to be doing that. This is probably our first upgrade we would do with an ME system, and no doubt when, a refined storage system. And this is probably going to be something you do straight away instead of even using the grid at all. And this is by using a crafting grid, made using a grid itself, a crafting table, and an advanced processor. All you can do is literally take this and replace this, and there you go. We can see everything in the system, and it's perfect. We can take this and we can make whatever we want. I don't know why I did that, but we can make, say, stone bricks, and we can do it straight out of the system like that and put it back inside. It's very good for when you're making a chain of different things. Now, this does have a couple of different things as well. If I click in here, it's a little bit overlapping here, so it's a little bit annoying, but you have this rotate grid. If I click this, it's going to rotate everything inside the crafting table. So maybe it's one of those crafts, you know, where you've got to put 4 in the sides and 4 in the corners. You've done it the wrong way around. Luckily, you can just rotate it and it will actually fix it for you, which is great. As well as that, you've got all the same other things, of course, down the side here. And the only thing is the stretch. You be wary that the stretch can be a little bit bigger than the screen sometimes, depending on your GUI size. So I like to keep it in the middle. Now, there are different types of grids in this, but they're going to be a little bit more advanced. Now, the one more thing I'm going to be showing off today is the use of cables. Cables are made using the iron quartz, the glass, and the redstone, and you get 12 of these per craft. Now, you may have noticed that all of these are stuck together. As I said, they're not wireless. However, if you did want to have things far away, what you can simply do is just do a cable, and then if we took our crafting grid over here, put it over here, and link those two together, we could now see everything inside of here still, which is very, very nice. So these can go infinite distance as long as, in fact, I don't even know if it has to be chunk loaded, but you can go infinite distance and still see everything in your system, and you can just craft as if you would normally as well. But for now, guys, that is everything when it comes to refined storage for our basic episode. If this video helped you out in any way, shape or form, then please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. That would really help me out, and ring the bell button to stay notified when these videos go live. This was just the basics, of course, so next time we're going to be going a little bit more advanced about the basic things you can do inside of refined storage. But until next time, guys, take care.